everyone, and welcome to the Woodlawn Report. We're so excited to have you today. We're going to cover what happened in our board meeting just yesterday. So, Brad, can you tell me what equipment did the board approve yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. Yesterday at the board meeting, a couple things got approved. In our surgical department, we are bringing on a new arthroscopic and laparoscopic tower. And so what that really means is that it's all the computer portions, the mechanical portions of surgical equipment. So anything that's arthroscopic, whether it's a knee or whatnot, we're going to have brand new equipment, latest and greatest updated equipment. And so it's going to make things more efficient for the staff. And it's also going to make things a little bit smoother for the patients. You know, technology increases at such a rapid pace that even this year's model makes last year's look like a Pinto from 1970. So we're very excited about that. And we were very fortunate too. The team did a great job, and it's actually going to save the hospital some money as well. So we're looking forward to getting that here. The other thing that they bought was a piece of equipment that will allow them to wash the endoscopy equipment. So endoscopy equipment is that equipment we typically would be using for going in and doing anything in your throat or stomach area, you know, with the scopes, or any colonoscopies. And so this is a piece of equipment that we can do some additional cleaning and things here on site. So happy to have that here too. That'll speed things along as well, so it'll allow us to get things clean and ready to go for the next day in a little more efficient time as well.
Right, so. Just one of the many ways that we're caring for our community. All right, so every board meeting we review financials. Can you share what those look like?
Absolutely. For the month, we were around $645,000 operating loss. Now I'm going to say that, and I'm smiling even kind of, but that's because those financials are kind of a conglomeration of several months in which we had our system down. And so we couldn't process claims. We couldn't even process and pay bills. And so that number is much higher than it likely is. But we do have to report it as it comes in. We had several bills that we weren't able to get the month before because of the system down situation. And so we had to pay those twice this past month. So that accounts for a couple $100,000 of additional costs for our operations. So that was the overall, and then the net overall for the month. So that's after some of those other little businesses that we have, our rents that we get from outside physician practices and things like that. We ended up with a $285,000 loss. Now, like I said, part of that's just due to some of the changes in how we had to pay our bills and stuff. And then the other was we had a very high percentage of contractual adjustments. And so I'll say very quickly, because I know Krista doesn't like it when we talk a lot of medical stuff. But a contractual adjustment is the amount of money between what we bill and what the insurance is willing to pay. And we had a much higher number last month, by about 3% higher than normal. And 3% for us means roughly $500,000 to $700,000 difference. And so that's the difference in whether or not we break even or make a little money or have a slight loss. And so that was a little different for the month. Again, because we weren't able to accumulate and keep track of everything during those down months, those numbers may be slightly off. We're looking at, 5 to 6 months down the road, we should have everything smoothed back out. And then we'll really know whether or not these were just little blips in the road or not.
Right,
absolutely.
Definitely. And we're not very worried. You can easily make that up.
No, not worried about it. And the other thing is that it happened at a time, too, when our outpatient volumes were 1.2 million higher than normal. So it is, in my estimation, more likely we're just getting things worked out with the new system.
Definitely. Okay, we talked about colon screenings, so we have some new exciting things happening with colon screenings. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Woodlawn was very fortunate. We applied for last year and was notified earlier this year that we won a Prevent Cancer Foundation grant. And that is a $50,000 grant for this year and $50,000 for next year. So it's $100,000 over a 2-year span to provide free cancer screenings for the community related to colon cancer. The new rule is 45 is the new 50. So I just turned 50 this past, oh my goodness, 2 days ago.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. But 45 is the new 50. So 5 years ago, I had to start getting colonoscopies when needed. And so that is the new rule. Colon cancer is one of the fastest growing cancers among younger people. And unfortunately, we as a society are still not great at doing our screenings. Colon cancer, when found in stage 1 and stage 2, can very quickly be treated and has extremely high success rates. Unfortunately, we oftentimes don't get screened when we should, and we end up with stage 3 and stage 4, which greatly changes the outcomes. So please, everyone who is 50 or younger, if you're that 45 to 50 age range, or if you have a family history where anyone has had colon cancer, you need to get in and get checked. And so this is for those individuals who have no insurance or whose insurance doesn't cover the colonoscopy and the screening process. So please reach out. You're going to contact Rochester Surgical Services, and we will be getting all of that information put online shortly. So reach out. We'll get you in for a physician visit to check you, make sure you fall within those categories. We'll be providing some of the screening will be what you see on TV, Cologuard. So that'll be the at-home test that you'll provide a sample, and then we'll take care of that. And then if that comes back and there's something that's necessary, you might end up having a colonoscopy. But again, we've gotten $50,000 this year and $50,000 next year to help take care of the community.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. Just one of the many ways we're trying to earn the right to care for our community. So we have, and you've been working on for many years, a residence program, which basically is for our non-medical audience, a doctor in training program. So where are we with that? And let's just start with where are we, and then we'll talk about the benefits that will be for Woodlawn and our community.
Yeah, we are finishing what I would consider stage 1, which stage 1 is we have partnered with Marion University's School of Medicine down in Indianapolis. They have volunteered to be our sponsoring institution. And they have just received the accreditation from the ACGME. That's the accrediting body for residency programs, the national body. And so what that means is that now we can move forward with getting a facility ready to go. There'll be some construction of a small area. The residents will be here for 2 to 3 years. And so we'll have a small area with some education space and training space, those kinds of things. And then we can also start working on hiring a program director. And that program director will be a family medicine physician who will spend half of their time roughly seeing patients and taking care of the community. And the other half of their time, they'll be observing and monitoring those residents. Our residency program is one of only a couple in the entire country that are happening in rural, small hospitals like Woodlawn. It is very rare for that to happen. It's extremely important that it happens, and it happens maybe even more often. We struggle in small communities to have the number of physicians needed to take care of the community. And this is one way where we can start getting those residents here while they're still going through training, and hopefully make a connection with them and show them what a wonderful place this is and the surrounding area is to live, work, and raise a family. So we're very much looking forward to that. It'll help Woodlawn, and it'll also help other small rural communities across the state. We lose a lot of physicians to outside states. You know, that brain drain they always talk about. It's important that we have more residency programs and we can do the training here. So we'll have somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 students per year. And those are residents. They've already graduated medical school and they're doing their on-the-job training, so to speak. And we're looking very forward to having that. That will not begin. Best case scenario is the fall of 27. More than likely, spring of 28. So we'll keep you updated on that. But we've crossed the first big hurdle, and we're going to start working towards those next couple of milestones.
Well, I think you make up a good point. We don't ever talk a lot about this, but as an organization, we really are trying to not only stay on the cutting edge of rural health, but many times we're being able to train and talk about it. I'm thinking our CEO, Alan, is going to talk at a conference. You sit on the board for IRHA. I've had the opportunity to talk at conferences. We have lots of team members who are educating for rural health to make it better for everyone, not just for Woodlawn.
People talk of rural health as being, kind of small potatoes compared to the big ones. And in a sheer numbers thing, sure we are. Mm-hmm. We don't see the volumes that you see in Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, South Bend, any of the larger cities. But what people don't realize is that 70% of healthcare occurs in rural communities across the nation. And so we need people who understand those rural communities. And I will tell you, in recruiting physicians over the last 5 or 6 years, providers who are trained in rural communities or who come from rural communities, they do treat differently than those that are only born and raised and trained in large cities. I would put our primary care physicians up against any primary care physician in the country. Our doctors do more and see more themselves on a day-to-day basis than primary care doctors do in larger cities. And part of that is because in larger cities they refer out to specialists more often. Our doctors take care of more things themselves in their practices than most primary care doctors will ever see. And so the training that a rural physician receives is different because of that. We don't have that access to that other care. And truthfully, we have people who have challenges getting to that care. Sometimes if you have to wait 3 months to get into a specialist and drive an hour each direction, that's a lot of challenge for some families. So we're very proud of what we can do here at Woodlawn.
Awesome.
And looking forward to the next generation of primary care doctors that are trained right here in this community.
Right, and the impact we don't only get to make not only for our organization, the community, but for rural health at large is just, I think, substantial and exciting. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Brad?
Well, don't you have some upcoming events this Friday? I mean, it's Halloween, people.
It is Halloween. Actually, depending on when this airs, tonight, which is Wednesday night, we will be at the Fulton County Health Fair at the fairgrounds. So if you're there, please stop by. We always have a huge turnout for that. So our team will be ready to go at 3 and staying till 6. And
you'll have some information there about them contacting Rochester Surgical Services related to this cancer screening. So the phone numbers and that flyer will be there as well.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of team members out. It's a great event we do twice a year, and we're so happy to partner with other organizations to bring that on. And then it is Halloween, and we always are very big into Halloween. We recently just did the Boo Fest, and they ran out of candy. We sent a lot of candy, and they ran out. So Akron and Argus, both towns are having their Halloween events on Friday night. I believe Argus is from 5 to 7, and Akron is from 6 to 8. Always great to be out with our community. What I love about those events is if you go to a clinic in that area, you're going to be able to see a lot of those familiar faces that you see at the clinic. They will be passing out candy, so always a great event. So we have that. And then obviously, if you are on social media, please come follow us on Instagram or Facebook. We do a lot with our social media. It's a really good way for you to not only find out what Woodlawn offers, but to just keep up with us and everything we do. And you get to meet a lot of our team members on there. And we really want it to be a community social media. So please come and follow us. And I think is there anything else?
There's really one major important thing we need to talk about.
Yes.
This weekend is a big football weekend for Indiana colleges and our professional teams. Our Colts are the number 1 team in the NFL, people. And my alma mater, IU, is number 2 in the country. So go IU, go Penn State and beat the Buckeyes.
Hey!
And maybe we'll be really happy on Monday morning.
I will be grieving on Monday morning.
I know. I'm sorry. She's a Buckeye. But no, great things this weekend. Hopefully the weather holds out nice, and hope to see all the kids out in their different outfits and stuff. And the staff, they normally dress up and have probably as much fun as the children. So absolutely. And reach out to us, obviously. If you guys have anything you need, please reach out to Woodlawn, and we'll see if we can take care of you.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.